I feel like till I am functional, I will never stop doing IFPs.
Oh.
Yeah, because they're the one thing, because there's not, you could be the saddest person on earth, but if you're in an I mean, that's not a nice thing to say. I'm sorry if you're the saddest person on earth. But
Please
like,
don't be sad.
yeah, just try not being sad. Go for a
Have you
walk or
tried
something.
IFP? Okay, Armaan. Hi. Welcome to the TBG podcast.
Thank you.
Excited?
Yes.
Yeah,
That's
come on, show excitement then.
That's the correct answer. Yes, I'm excited. I'm extremely excited.
Armaan is one of our OG creators of the community, and he's our go-to guy for many of the types of shoots and everything we do. And Armaan himself is known for making some amazing short films and worked with some great brands and done events and everything, everything under the sun you would need to do as a videographer or photographer. I would say Armaan has almost done it all. And so Armaan, as a creator, how did this creative journey of yours start? What inspired you to start creating?
The fact that I didn't know what to do with life is what made me pursue this, because ever since I think 10th 11th grade, all my friends had an idea कि उनको क्या करना है life में. They all knew what they wanted to do. Someone was like, oh, engineering. Someone was like, oh, medical. Because I took science.
Yeah.
But then 11th 12th, even I took science, and I was just with everyone else. I was like, oh, maybe I'll do engineering. And there's this other thing, NDA, which is the military. So a lot of my batchmates are like, oh, we'll do NDA. And I'm like, oh, I'll also do NDA. So I just filled forms for everything. But then I remember, I used to, because my dad had a DSLR, the Nikon D5200. I used to go around shoot with it, with the kit lens. And it was pretty fun. I never thought I would make a life out of it. But then I remember I was applying to colleges, and I knew for a fact that I didn't want to do engineering and NDA. This was 12th grade. And I don't want to do engineering, I don't want to do NDA. I can't do medical because I took PCM. So I was like, okay, cool, what do I do? So I started applying to random colleges. And the first college I'm applying to is Christ, for some reason. I don't know why. And then I just go through their courses. I was like, okay, cool, what's interesting? And they have communication, English, psychology. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be fun. And then I came here, and the creative journey, I think, started from second year onwards in college, where I was like, oh, now I can make a life out of it. Earlier, I was just doing it for fun. But to find purpose in it, I think that happened because I met a lot of people. I met a lot of friends who were also doing the same thing. So that motivated me.
So one big project that you, I would say, took in a first year, that time was IFP, the Indian Film Project.
Yeah. So IFP is basically this thing that we do every year just to motivate ourselves.
So,
in a way.
okay, since we are starting the topic, many of our listeners, viewers, won't have a proper idea of what IFP is. So why don't you...
No, so IFP, if you say IFP is just India Film Project, and it's just one huge brand. It's a collective, actually. They started with some competitions. Now, one of their competitions is a 50-hour filmmaking challenge.
Yeah.
It's over the last weekend of September every year, and I think last year was their 11th edition. Now, they'll give you a theme, and they'll give you a genre on Friday evening around 8 o'clock, and by Sunday 10 at night, you need to have a 6-minute short film ready. Maximum 6 minutes. A lot of people think that's impossible. A lot of people think that's very easy. But it's none of those things. It's just somewhere in the middle, and it depends on you. So I was introduced to this by a couple of seniors in first year. I remember I was this good-for-nothing kid, and I joined this theatre group called Paths of the Bonfire. And they were all like, oh, actually it was Subtract Pigeon back then. I had joined Subtract Pigeon.
So came what's it?
Yeah, so Subtract Pigeon started when I was in my first year by Revant and all these guys. And it was basically people from Bards.
Yeah.
Because Bards didn't exist, Subtract Pigeon formed, and then Panda came back, so Bards started existing, and Subtract was all... It's a long story. That needs a different podcast.
For a group of college theaters, RO has amazing, because... So to give you a context, Subtract Pigeon was started from members from another team called Ad Hoc.
Yeah.
So there was this entire rivalry, and then there was nuts and bolts and everything that came up.
Actually, Subtract Pigeon, I mean, the person who founded it, he wasn't in Ad Hoc. He just didn't like Ad Hoc. And the idea behind Ad Hoc. Ad Hoc was basically this group of I can't say this.
You can.
I'm sorry if anyone from Ad Hoc is listening, but these are just 400 people, right? And if you join that team, obviously if you're in the top rungs, you are noticed and all. But first years and all, they're nothing over there because they're all like, it's a huge group, and to be something in that huge group, you have to be really good, which is okay, that's how the world works. But now he made Subtract Pigeon, and the idea behind Subtract Pigeon was it was a team of like 15 to 20 people max. So everyone mattered. And that was also the idea behind Bath of the Bonfire. So anyway, back to the point, Subtract Pigeon happened, and we did a play with them called Meri Wali Alag Hai. It was a beautiful play, standing ovation, everyone lost their shit. And then these guys are like, oh, we'll do IFP. And IFP, I was like, oh, what's that? And then I was in my first year. I was living in a PG in First Cross, SG and I had no idea. And I was like, yeah, I'll come. It's no big deal. But then I joined, and then the first thing, I entered the room. These guys were all third years, okay? This is Ayush Giri, Sanket, Vaishnavi. They all have coffee powder in their hands. And I just entered the room. I'm like, hi, I'm Armaan. They have coffee powder in their hands, and then just and am I in the wrong room? Sorry. And then they introduced the entire idea of, staying awake for 50 hours for this entire creative process. Now, licking the coffee thing is not advisable, but doing IFP is advisable because it is this entire huge 3-day motivation program.
Yeah, I will come down to, because IFP was something that even I sort of aspired to do, but I guess I just never had, always had something else going on.
Yeah.
So I definitely would want to know what, how does it change a creator, what different perspectives it brings. But I would say before that, I would want to know, how was your first experience into IFP? Because it's an overwhelming big project. You're not sleeping. You have very limited resources, and you're up against some big people, really experienced production houses also. So how was your first experience stepping into this world?
Firstly, I did sleep a lot in my first IFP because I was the kid who was just running around. So I slept a lot. But how it changed me was magical in all the ways possible, because I saw the things that could be created in just over a weekend. Because here was a team of 7 people. Because you get the idea on your email and SMS at 8 o'clock. And right then you sit down, the entire team sits down, and we start brainstorming. And I was just looking at my seniors just going up and down, up and down, and I was there to shoot BTS. And I was like, what do I shoot? Because there's so much going on. Right? There's so many ideas hitting the walls. There's a whiteboard full of ideas. And I'm just like, this is beautiful. I mean, I don't understand this, but this is good. And slowly as you progress, I've done 3 IFPs now. And by the 3rd time, we know how to function. We know how many hours to give to each thing. So first IFP, I've done 4 IFPs? 18, 19, 20, 21. Oh yeah, I've done 4 IFPs. This one was the 4th one. Yeah. So 18 and 19 I did with my seniors, and we couldn't submit the film on time because of a lot of issues. You usually can't. IFP has this, obviously you said we're up against huge houses and all, but they've done a really good segregation. There's mobile category, there's amateur category, and there's professional category. So it really depends on you what you want to go with. So if 2020 we were all online, so we went with mobile category because only I was the one with cameras and shit, and obviously we couldn't rent. So I was like, we'll go with mobile, we'll just do whatever we can. And that was the year we actually won IFP, and I was like, oh, with a phone, that's possible. So that's the main point of IFP, that no matter what you have, it's the story that matters. It's the emotion behind the story that matters. And you can have cameras worth lakhs of rupees, but at the end of the day, do you have a story that moves people?
So in 2nd year also you were covering BTS?
No. 2nd year I was assistant DOP. Assisting...
so like a crucial part of the filmmaking.
Yeah. And 2nd year was actually mad because what we decided was... it was a very meta film. And so what happens in IFP, a lot of ideas are shot, right? And then obviously you can't just say no to everyone. You have to listen to people. So what we tried to do was we combined 3 people's ideas into one film. And it became it's a very meta film. Like, it takes effort to understand it. And I was very against the idea from the first, because obviously I'm dumb as f***. And I don't, sorry, I'm really dumb. And I don't understand films as I have to watch them 3. I've watched Interstellar 7 times and then I got it. So I was really against the idea, but I was the assistant DOP, so I had to pull off those shots.
Yeah.
And then we had some 7 locations. One of those locations was 60 kilometers from Bangalore.
Okay.
Now, in a 50 hours filmmaking contest, that doesn't make sense. Because you'll lose like 7 hours in traveling itself, up and down, and then gear rentals and all that. So we couldn't submit. So second IFP was really chaotic. But again, that was a huge learning for me, that when you're thinking of a film, think about the logistics as well. You know, think about where you'll secure the locations, think about what gear you'll require, what time of the day you need to shoot. So second year IFP was just a learning stone.
And then third was your first.
Yeah, third was our first win, and that was actually so third one. The process was really fun. I was at home with my parents in a place called Sagar. Internet's really bad because it's an army area, and now we're just managing online. Everything's happening online, and we decide, okay, it's a team of full juniors. Okay, so now this is Bards. This is not Subtract Pigeon. This is Bards. And Panda has given, like, Panda is my senior who started Bards. Now Panda has given the leadership of Bards to me. And I'm like, okay, cool, I'll handle it. And then we audition some juniors, they're involved. And now this IFP is just like 20 odd juniors who have this life, right? Obviously third years have
they're done with
they're purposeless, they want to kill themselves.
They just want to get out and get a job.
Yeah, but now these first years, they're really full of life and they want to do something. So when I texted on the Bards group, now this Bards group is like 30-40 people. 20 of them are juniors, and I'm like, oh, who wants to be part of IFP? It's online this time. And everyone's like, yes, and me. And I'm like, okay, cool. So this is just a lot of juniors, and like 4 or 5 of us were seniors. And I was like, okay, so this is also another IFP, which will be a learning process, because obviously we can't win with a team of juniors. I assume that you can't win with a team of juniors. And so the first night of Friday night is basically brainstorming, right? So when we were
because you get the prompt on Friday.
Yeah, you get the prompt on Friday, 8 o'clock. So basically, I divide my time like 8 to around 3 in the morning. 3 to 4 a.m. your script should be ready. By 6 to 7 a.m. your screenplay should be ready. While the screenplay is being written and all that. So I'll explain that process later. But basically, in this brainstorming session, all these juniors were coming up with really good ideas for like online films. And I was like, wait, this might actually, not just be a learning process, because there's no gear involved. You don't need a lot of technical skill. We just need a good story and a good logistical way to pull it off. And we did. So we finalized on an idea. It was basically BTS. So it was the idea of making a film for IFP during the lockdown. And we wrote the script for it, right?
Juniors came up with this idea.
Yeah, and trust me, it was a shitty idea. We didn't realize this. I was like, oh, great idea. But then these guys wrote the screenplay. And I was just chilling because, I had decided that I just want to give them some guidance and not, push them to do something. So I was just supervising. But then these guys wrote the screenplay and we read it. It was around 6 a.m. We read the screenplay. And we realized how shitty it is. And we realized how it had no chance of, not even like shortlisting, not even top 100. It had no chance whatsoever. It was just a bad film. It was like slapstick comedy. And it was just really not written well. And I was like, no, I don't think this works, guys. And then Aditya, who's a batchmate of mine, Aditya Yash, very interesting dude, very funny dude. He's just like, oh, you know what happened recently? One of my, I don't know if it's a real life story, but he just told me a story about a teacher who didn't know how to work laptops and technology and how the pandemic affected him. And then I was like, oh, emotional story.
Yeah, this is a biopic.
And then we started forming on that, and within like 1.5 hours, we had a story, we had a log line. So basically, when you're making a story, we're like, okay, you should have the title of the film ready, you should have a log line ready, and you should have a synopsis. Once you have these, it's very easy to come up with the entire story for the film. So we did that. It was very easy. Aditya is really good at Hindi. I'm also fairly okay at Hindi dialogues. So we just quickly wrote up an entire narrative-based. So narrative drama was the genre that they gave us, and we just. I think the screenplay was also ready in 2 hours. And if you look at the film, and I still don't understand how it won. I am just shocked because cinematically speaking, it's bullshit.
I mean,
Right.
you are in the mobile category.
Yeah,
right?
it's in the mobile category, and we've shot on some random phone, and it's just there's no meaning to the shots.
Yeah.
We just had to. We even if an editor looks at the film, he'll realize that 3 shots have been repeated twice because we didn't have footage to fit the narration. And I'm saying this, and IFP might take back my award. Please don't. But
Like,
it's
give the
just
phone back,
it's the story. It's the story that guides the shots,
Yeah.
right? Because the narration was going on, because the narration was so emotional, no one really gave a fuck about what's happening in frame.
Yeah.
As long as the person, I just put a shot of, so basically the repeated shot is of him writing the letter.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
that you can get away with, I guess.
And he's writing the same line again and again if you look at it. It's only the close-ups where he had to repeat the shots. And this guy also, Advait, he was the lead actor, he has to do all the camera work himself. I don't know, he's in isolation or something, his family is not around. So basically he's setting up the camera, he's then going on to a Zoom meeting and then showing me the frame. I'm like, okay, good frame, maybe tilt it a little. Then he's going into the frame, rolling, and then he's just...
That's
it was a
lot
long
of work.
process. So that was a learning stone that I thought would be a learning stone, but it actually turned out to be an achievement.
So
Yeah.
then I would say you came to your 4th one, which I would say you
Yeah.
had like, I mean, good amount of experience and
Yeah.
and a good team and everything. So how did your 4th one go, the latest project?
4th one, I think obviously experience and all was there, but what was very different here was the expectations. Because the team was similar to last time. Our families, our friends, everyone just had expectations from us. Because like, oh, you guys won last year, maybe you'll do really good this year. And that's what we also thought, because when everyone keeps telling you something, that's what you start believing. That's just a sad truth. And it's not a bad film, but the 4th one was a very interesting experience because it was the theme was, how does money make you feel? And now I'm in this stage in life, 2021. I've just graduated. Okay, July I think we graduated.
Yeah, July we graduated.
IFP happened September. I'm doing pretty okay for myself freelancing, but there's still this question in my mind: am I doing the right thing in life? And the theme is like, how does money make you feel? And I'm like, fuck, just make a vlog about your life, Armaan. And but we didn't do that. We came up with this idea that, oh, what if whose idea? I think it was Joseph's idea. And it was like, what if someone gets money out of hurting them, like hurting either themselves or other people, emotionally, physically, whatever. Just hurt people and you'll get money from a random source. And we came up with that story and we shot it. Brilliant cinematography, brilliant editing. Aditya Sadhan is the editor. He was online. He's in Delhi. The entire team was offline, but he was online. And he's one of my favorite junior editors right now because he just understood the assignment so quickly. And with everything going on, we still submitted the film at 10, which is a huge achievement for me because the first 2 IFPs, we didn't submit at 10. Second IFP, third IFP, obviously, it was shot on phone. We were done at 1 p.m. on a Sunday. We had like 9 extra hours. But 4th, I was very sure that we won't be able to submit because there was so much chaos. And what happened was, the 4th IFP, the biggest thing was, we love our story, right?
Yeah.
So we're not willing to cut down on it. Now, you're an editor.
Yeah.
You make a rough cut first. The rough cut of the film, so the limit is 6 minutes. The rough cut was 12.5 minutes. And now you can't cut out any bit of this.
Half of a film was...
Yeah, so if you look at the film right now, it's called Mitti Ka Mahal on Bards of the Bonfire. Please go. Link is here. Here.
It's there. Find it.
Yeah, so if you go look at the film, it's like a trailer right now. Because so many things have been cut out of it.
Cutting fast.
Yeah, it's just quick, quick, quick. And the idea was for someone to understand that, oh, he's getting money out of hurting people. And people are just not getting that. So it just felt a little too fast paced to understand. But it's still, again, it's a learning part. I feel like till I am functional, I will never stop doing IFPs.
Oh.
Yeah, because they're the one thing, because there's not, you could be the saddest person on earth, but if you're in an I mean, that's not a nice thing to say. I'm sorry if you're the saddest person on earth. But
Please
like,
don't be sad.
yeah, just try not being sad. Go for a walk.
Have
or
you tried
something.
IFP?
Yeah, but like IFP just cheers you up, or just puts you into functionality.
Yeah, it's a very adrenaline rush.
Exactly.
Like you don't even need coffee when in that state.
I have videos from each September last weekend.
Yeah.
Of us just shouting because we submitted. Like last 2020, we submitted, we were all on a meeting and we're like, ah! Last year, 2021, we lost our shit because we didn't expect to. Obviously, the rough cut, we made the rough cut at 6 p.m. on Sunday. Now we have 4 hours to remove half the film to fit it into the 6-minute thing.
Then it would have been rushed. Yeah.
Yeah,
You
and
don't have time to take extra
Then you
shots.
understand why I like Aditya so much. Because he did that. And then there was Vishwi who did the score for us. Brilliant score. I didn't have to do any changes. He sent me one wave file. I put it onto the Premiere Pro timeline and I was like, it fits. It fits with everything. So our team just really came together, and I really hope that our next IFP also gives us the same team.
Since you've mentioned so many people, Aditya, Vishwi,
Yeah.
how important is it to have assigned crews? Because I believe this one was your first IFP when you had a production manager assigned.
Yeah. No. We usually have a production manager assigned in offline crews. Online one, we didn't need one because shooting.
So how
was
important is it to have roles assigned? Because you can't just come up with together like five friends group together, make an IFP.
It's extremely important. So basically, when I'm asking people if they want to be a part of my team, I also ask them what they can do as part of my team. And they'll obviously tell me, oh, I can write, I can shoot, and I can act. And I'm like, okay, cool, you have to do one thing though, you can't do all of them. So obviously, when I go into the team, so now I don't want to shoot films, I want to direct films more. So I know I'll be either directing or ADing. So cinematography role is open. And Nikhil joined. Nikhil was like either acting or shooting. I was like, okay, cool, if the role fits you, then you act. Otherwise, you're shooting for sure. Now, this is how it works. Now, production managers are a very important thing to production. Obviously, they're production managers. But we fail to realize this because we're like, oh, okay, we have cinematographer, we have director, we have actor. Cool, what else do you need? But no, when you have an idea which needs some sort of planning, some sort of logistics, like in our last film, we needed an office space, we needed a flat, we needed a lot of things. And it's just one person who you can put all the responsibility on. Like, it's just like, hey, bro, handle this, please.
Yeah, handle the back end stuff.
Yeah, because if you're directing and you need to focus on the actors and if the shot's looking good, you can't be like, oh, have you got the location? Oh, is the gear here? And all that shit. So it's just someone who is handling everything. He's basically the backbone of the entire production. And that way, ADs are very important. Aryan Khanna is a junior and a very good friend of mine who's really good at ADing. I've never seen someone who's good at being an assistant director, right? Because it's a very executive job.
Yeah.
You have to get things done. And he's just really good at that for some reason. I don't know why. And you just find people fitting into these roles and it shocks you because the team just comes together as a whole. So it's very important to define roles. I started my first IFP saying that, hey, listen, I know you're the director, but you can also do this. Hey, I know you're the actor, but you can also do this. But now I'm more of the belief that if you've been given a role, just stick to that as much. Once your opinion is asked, then you can give your, genius in whatever other strata. But until then, just stick to your role and let others do their jobs. That's how it should work.
You need to trust your people, trust the process also.
True.
Coming to the process, I would say right now is the best time for you to break down how the 50 hours looks like.
Oh yeah.
Because
It's actually not that difficult because IFP themselves, they send you an email of, look, this is how you should do this.
Oh,
Yeah,
is
they
that-
do. Yeah, they do. They tell you so, and that's actually that's how I think people also do it, because you get the theme, you start brainstorming. We give brainstorming like midnight. So till 12, just keep shooting ideas. From 12 to 1 or 2, we vote on ideas or we shortlist some ideas. I consider voting to be better because democracy. And we vote on an idea. We find the idea that works well logistically. Story is good. And how do you find the story is good? If you have like 20 people and you say the story out loud and it affects those people, then you know it's a good story. Because if it's affecting 20 people,
Yeah.
then it'll affect 500 people.
That makes sense.
If it's not affecting
Even
20
20,
people here,
what's the
then what's the point? Exactly. Then after you're done brainstorming and shortlisting by 2, 3 a.m., you start writing it out. A lot of people are like, oh, you have the idea in mind, just start shooting. That's really not okay, because we know how planning really helps the entire process. So I like to put everything into pre-production so that production is much easier.
quicker.
So we are in pre-production till at least 11, 12 a.m. on the Saturday morning. So there's scripting happening, then we make either a virtual storyboard depending on how your production is happening. But I usually just like to take sticky notes, stick them on the wall. Each sticky note is one frame and that becomes our storyboard. Then after storyboard is done, we start, while this is happening, the production manager is also figuring out the logistics, the locations, costume manager is handling the costume. If there is makeup required, makeup is being secured, all the gear is being secured. By 12, you should start shooting. 12 noon, you have started shooting. I think we give ourselves 24 hours, but I divide that into 2 batches. Basically, divide your film. Usually, we divide film into 3 acts, right? Act 1, Act 2, Act 3.
Yeah.
Introduction, conflict, resolution. But for logistics purpose, I divide them into 2. So shoot 1 and shoot 2. Once you do shoot 1, you dump the footage, send it to the editor or give it to the editor, and he starts working on it while you're doing shoot 2. Because if you start with shoot 2 and the editor is still waiting, he's like, what do 2? Then
Editor is sleeping only.
yeah. So yeah, I divided it into shoot 1, shoot 2. Shooting should be over completely by 12 noon on Sunday.
Okay.
Which is very difficult to achieve, but it's manageable. Your story should be in a way that it's manageable, and then editing's already sorted, your timeline sorted, so by 3, 4 you should have a rough cut. This is like worst case scenario. IFP tells you that have a rough cut ready by noon or something. Obviously, it's not very manageable, at least from my experience. And then you have a rough cut ready, you send it to the background music guy, you send it to Foley and all that. By 8, you should have your film. That's a safe space, but you will never have it by 8 o'clock. That's for sure. If you have it by 8, that means it was an easy film to make. Logistically.
That might also be a risky factor.
Yeah, but not always. Look what happened to Master G, right?
Fair enough.
There's always exceptions. But yeah, then submit it by 10 o'clock. The submitting procedure is long. So by 8:30 p.m., one of your crew members should be filling out the form of the Google form, basically, where you submit your film. It's a long ass form. I don't know why they do that. But you have to fill a lot of blanks.
What all is in the form? Why is it long? If
They just ask you a lot of questions about the gear you're using, about your team as a whole, your experience. Everything's on that form, and all of the questions are compulsory. This is some random facts about IFP, so you should know this. So yeah, that form is really long. Then there's a leader's agreement that you have to sign. So each page you have to sign of that and upload.
That is, I would say, is a good thing that IFP sort of tells you that what you need to do. I mean, for a starter, that would be such a huge help from IFP. But IFP being an organization can't do everything right. So as a 4-time veteran, I'm gonna call you a veteran because 4-time is a lot. Just saying. But yeah, as a 4-time veteran, how would you suggest IFP to improve? If IFP, please.
IFP, are you watching?
Please, IFP. Tag us also.
Is your friend working in IFP? Send this to them.
So how can IFP improve?
It's weird because IFP as an organization is really sorted. I'm not just saying this because I've won their competition or whatever, but 2 months after IFP, they'll have your number. I keep getting calls from IFP every month like, "Hi Armaan, you participated in our competition. How can we improve?" I'm like, you can't. You're the best. Yeah, but they're really trying to improve in all factors whatsoever. One thing is, I feel like this is weird because I've experienced this because we won this thing and I won. It's not in a great shape right now, but I won this phone because of IFP, the third IFP that I took part in. And the weird part was, it was just one gift, right? Like, you get one phone and now you can't divide this phone into 20 people. I told them this, that hey, listen, I think you should, but I don't know how they can sort that out. Cash prizes would be weird.
Cash prizes. I mean, but cash prizes would make sense because you have a 20 people crew, someone would else have a 30 people crew. And
but then exactly, and then the cash prize would come down to $500. Obviously, the people competing in this, like, they're like, what do we do with five? I guess it's more about the idea of winning IFP that is more prestigious than the prize.
How did your team resolve this?
I was just like, it's mine, guys. I'm the director. No, but I actually
said democracy. Just remember that.
No, because they sent it to my place. I don't know. If they sent it to someone else's place, I'm pretty sure they would have kept it. But I asked the team, if they wanted me to sell the phone and get the cash and give them a party or something. They were like, no, just keep the phone. But I promised to give them a party. You won't get this. The IFP 2020 team fully hasn't met until now. Because I promised them a party in 2020. Yeah, and we haven't met until now, like the full team at least.
But the colleges were open.
But we didn't get a chance, like the entire team to meet. Even in IFP 2021, some people were missing, some new people were there.
Okay, so now that we know about IFP, we know about your journey in IFP, which has been amazing, honestly. Like I listening to that, I have chota se regret कि यार मैंने क्यों नहीं किया.
No, I feel like if you're listening to this and you're anywhere related to making films, even theater, just try out IFP.
So how would, as a creator, even if I'm like, as a creator who's doing it as a profession also, how would it benefit me to do IFP?
That's the weird. I'm going to go a little philosophical here.
Go philosophical.
But we're just weird when we look for benefits and everything.
Oof.
What's the point? I mean, why are you looking at me like that? I'm sorry. No, but like, obviously there's a lot of benefits to IFP, trust me. But I've realized off late that every time we have to do something, we're like, oh, what is the benefit of that?
Okay.
Yeah, so, anyway, I'll tell you the benefits of IFP, the experience that you get from it.
Definitely.
I have learned in IFP what Christ couldn't teach me in 3 years of mass communication. I learned it in one single weekend.
Oh.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, Shantaraju tried to teach it.
Shantaraju tried to teach a lot of things.
Shantaraju sir.
Sorry, sir.
Yeah, and so yeah, the learning that you get, the people that you meet, the team that you make. Panda, Shashwat Singh, is one of my closest friends right now. I met him during my first IFP. We didn't even talk much. My memory of him is, it was 6 a.m. The team had gone off for production. And I was sleeping at home because, like, not my home. I was sleeping at the base, like, production base. And they'd gone to a location. And Panda was also sleeping. They called Panda that, hey, we've boom pole or something they'd forgot at my place. So Panda and I were supposed to go there. My first memory of Panda is him shaking me to wake me up. And just being like, oh, we have to go, it's 10 kilometers away.
Oh my.
And we just rode our bikes. So, and he's one of my closest friends today. I met him because of an IFP. So the people you meet. What was the other thing? Learning.
Yeah.
Obviously awards if you win. This phone, I would never buy a phone worth 45 grand, dude. And I'm using it for the past 2 years now. Other than that, IFP has a huge community. They have a great portal of sorts where you can learn a lot. They have a lot of workshops going on. So there's that kind of learning.
Yeah.
But that needs a lot of, I've never joined. If you sign up for IFP, your team leader will get Skillshare for 3 months. So that's a huge benefit, according to me at least. Yeah. So that's one. I mean, how many more do you need? Are you still looking for benefits in life?
Fair enough. So
What
IFP
is the
is
benefit?
definitely for people that look for benefits over experience.
Yeah.
IFP has something to offer to them also. That means IFP as an organization is doing its bit. So,
I
it's
feel like
working.
they're doing enough, dude.
Yeah.
They're doing more than enough. I feel like it's a very new age kind of thing, and they're doing
Yeah.
everything. Obviously, I don't know the people and I don't know their boss, but I feel like that organization is pretty sorted. I don't know how much they pay their employees and all that shit.
I mean
obviously.
that is not a concern to us.
Yeah, because representation
But
is
yeah.
there. If you make a regional language film, I don't know, some random guy researched this, but it's a lot more probable to win if you make a regional language film.
That's good.
Yeah, it speaks so much about representation. I mean, it's not even tokenism anymore because they're winning. So yeah, I think
And I mean, it's still sort of refreshing to know that they're reaching back to the creators that participated to know how
Exactly.
can they improve. Like I don't know if anyone does that still.
yeah,
So
and
there's
they
an organization.
and they call you even if you haven't won. Like they called me after 2021 IFP also. They're like, "Hi Armaan, how you doing?" And one of their employees actually knows me by name because she's called me so many times. I'm like, "Hi, yeah, I don't know what's her name. I've forgotten." But she keeps calling, and their community is very peaceful.
That's really good to know. Coming back to how you are a creator that is doing this as a profession, freelancing and retainership and everything like that. But you are also someone who I personally have known because of your passion projects more of. Like IFP was something I know, yeah, Armaan has done, but I have seen more of your passion projects and you're still continuing to doing them. Like IFP was a passion project, to be honest.
Yeah.
So how do you manage that alongside your professional projects that you do, professional gigs?
To be very honest, I don't have to manage it. It is what drives me, because it's it's weird that you bring this up because the past week I've been thinking a lot about how I made my only hobby my career, and now I have to make money out of it, and I have a pressure of making money out of it, right? And if I had some other hobby like painting or running, maybe I would be okay, but I have nothing to do when I'm not creating. But now I need to create for money.
Yeah.
So I have to get myself to do the freelancing bit more than I have to get myself to do the passion projects, because passion projects come very naturally to me. Freelancing is making me do corporate videos, some client work, which I don't give a fuck about, don't give a hoot about. And you just have to keep doing something that you're not enjoying because you have to make money out of it and live.
It really brings that commercial aspect into
Exactly.
stuff. When you're like doing something out of a passion, it's sort of liberating to not have money attached to it when you're starting off, but then you have to.
I'm genuinely pretty tired right now because I've been freelancing for like what, 3 years, and the past year has been extremely busy. At least not November, December. I've been chilling quite a lot, but it's been very busy. And the thing about freelancing is it's not a stable thing, right?
It's not a
Yeah, 1 month you're earning loads of cash, and the next month you're like, food, it's food. But yeah, so that's this thing about commercializing your art, that you have to keep motivating yourself to do it every day. But passion projects, if you're passionate enough, they just come naturally to you. So I'm working on this project called Ishq Ki Dastaan right now.
Yes, I was gonna ask. I was gonna introduce people. We are
Okay, cool. Then we'll leave it for the next question.
We all start off our creative journey. We do passion projects, and it's sort of liberating because you're handling that with college, and you don't have sort of money attached to those projects. So it's very fun and it's very liberating in a way. But then when you do it as a job, when you have to think about your day-to-day earning about it, sort of does take the fun out of that.
Yeah, it takes the fun out. Not sort of. It takes the fun out of it completely. Obviously, if you're doing to get where you're doing something for fun and making a lot of money out of it, enough to sustain and make profits, it gets really good. But to be in this phase where you're like, just making enough money to sustain yourself and you're doing shit that you don't enjoy, it's really frustrating. So passion projects are a way for me to they're like cathartic. And all these short films, all the photo series on my Instagram, they're all because I had this intense urge to
which I hope will come again. I believe you sold out all your pictures.
Yeah, the Prince thing was a very, I don't know how that happened, but yeah, apparently people want to look at my
This
photos.
is the first thing they wake up. Armaan.
Armaan's work. It's actually very funny because I went to a friend's place. They've recently moved to Bangalore. And they bought one of my prints and they already put it on their wall.
Yeah.
And I didn't know this. I walked into...
Divyam has put your print on his wall.
Yeah. So I haven't seen these. I saw the stories, obviously. But then I walked into this friend's room. They're just like, hi. And then I just looked up and it's my photo there. And I just tried to look away. And I was like, why am I looking away? It's my phone. So yeah, it's a very weird experience to see your work. And it's not even like, obviously, all the corporate videos that we see on Instagram every day.
That's different. Yeah, that definitely is
to see a tangible form of your art on someone else's room, it's just fancy as But yeah, so these passion projects, now there was no money attached to them, right? But now, coming to Ishq Ki Dastan is a project where, so I'll do the introduction and all that, but I'll tell you. So basically, Ishq Ki Dastan is something where I have to put money instead. Usually passion projects are something that you just pull off very easily.
Troubleshoot.
But now in Ishq Ki Dastan, you have to put money because now we have this image in our head. Yeah. You know the learning curve, right? The growth curve, and there's a growth curve and learning curve, and they usually never align. So now learning curve has happened. We've learned enough, but we haven't grown financially and all that. So you're just like, oh, it's not enough. So to be enough, you need to put money. And now when you don't have money to put, you're just like, oh, how do I make this passion project? So there comes a point in life when even your passion project is related to money in some way or sort. We just live in a very weird capitalistic society where money is everything. So
yes, it is. It sadly, very much sadly is. So, but we can't sort of leave them with a teaser of Ishq Ki Dastan. We have to tell them, come on.
Okay, yeah. I mean, Ishq Ki Dastan is a huge thing, and I'm very grateful to TBG also. TBG is I'm partnering with them for the entire project. And they're helping me with all the gear and all the production. So what Ishq Ki Dastan is basically a friend of mine again. You see how friends keep coming in the passion projects thing, but when it's corporate shit, it's just like, some client. So yeah, you just make friends over these creative journeys. And now this friend of mine, she used to send me poems.
Naam bata do friend ka aisa.
Jaisha. I don't know if they're fine with...
They're friends.
Yeah. So Jaisha is this friend of mine, again a junior who joined Bards in 2020 during Master G. And she used to send me, she was going through something in her life. And she used to send me poems related to what she was going through. She writes very beautifully.
That's like... there's this something very... sad about sadness being a great motivator for
sadness is the best motivator
sadness
for art.
Sadness is a great motivator for everything.
Yeah, look at the best movies in the world. Yeah. What have they come out of?
Yeah. True, that's very true.
It's all sadness, dude. He's just looking at me again and again.
I mean, films like The Marriage Story, Her,
exactly.
Joker. Amazing pieces.
So love and sadness due to love are two things that guide all of humanity.
That's very... okay.
Okay, anyway, moving on. So Jaisha used to send me these poems on WhatsApp.
Thoda personal ho gaya. Thoda oof.
So Jaisha was sending me these poems and I used to just read them because I liked reading Urdu poetry so much. I used to star these WhatsApp messages. And now it was like two poems a month through 2020, 2021. And around 2021 February or March, I went to my start messages to check something else. I think bank account details or something. I'd saved someone's. But I just scrolled and there were like 8 poems from Jaisha in an order. And if you read them all in one go, it shows the curve of a relationship, like the growth and the fall of a romantic relationship. And I was like, time to capitalize on this shit. So I was like, hey, listen, Jaisha, what if we make these into like films, you know? Like each poem is a film and all that shit. Like, hey, let's go.
Oh, she was comfortable.
Yeah, she's second year, dude, full of life and ready to go. So I was just like, okay, let's do this. And then it's been in the works since 2021, maybe March. We've been thinking, we've been writing, rewriting, cancelling and then rewriting. And now we shot the first episode in December of 2021. And it was just a huge process. There's 8 episodes for everyone watching and interested. There's 8 episodes. Each episode is about 2 to 3 minutes long maximum. It's basically, if I have to explain it in one sentence, it's like music videos but for Urdu poems.
Oh, okay.
So it's very interesting. It's a long ass process, and you'll see it in 3-4 months maybe. The first episode should be out soon. But the huge hurdle in this thing is that it's all going out of
Your pocket.
my. Am I supposed to be bringing up money so much?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Go
money is one thing.
ahead. You said like money runs everything.
Yeah, I hope you guys do a podcast about money because like it's very important. Yeah,
We'll cover everything under the sun.
call me.
Slightly just slides a check across the table.
Yeah, so now the production of the first episode was around 11 to 12k. And 11 to 12k, this was minimum cost because we paid only for one location for like 2 lenses and just food and transport for a team. And now, obviously, 12k going out of my pocket for a 2-day shoot is not feasible for me. And I was just like, okay, now I have to rethink everything because how do we work this out? How do we make 8 episodes? 12k into 8. And 12k, first episode was the easiest one. Other episodes are going to take like at least a week of shooting and all that. So it's going to be extremely expensive. And now, so if you're a producer who's looking at this video, and if this is out by then, and if you like the idea of love stories in the form of 8 episodes, please text me. I will put my number somewhere in the description. Yeah. So yeah, I'm looking for producers. I'm looking for investors. I don't know. There's no returns out of this because I aim to put it out on YouTube.
Yeah. I was going to ask what platform. So.
Yeah. So I don't want to make money out of it because that's just weird. I really enjoy poetry and I want other people to enjoy poetry in a free manner. So yeah.
It's beautiful in a way.
I mean, it is. It's just weird that sometimes you have to pay for art, right?
Art, yeah.
But it's okay. Instagram is fixing that.
If anything, that the other day I was thinking like even something like NFT is like just monetizing art.
Yeah,
So
but
it's a
yeah, even like if you talk about my prints,
yeah.
I still had to sell my prints. I can't just gift them to someone because when you give your money to someone and get something in return, again the entire idea of the living in a capitalistic society and money being everything. So if you give your money, then you feel like, oh, this is mine. If I would have just gifted it to them, they would have told like, oh, I was gifted this by Armaan. They wouldn't have been like, oh, look at this print from
Makes sense.
Entire different idea.
So Armaan, really looking forward to Ishki Dastan. I personally am
Even
very excited. Excited to see how it turns out. Thank you so much for coming to this podcast, teaching us so much about passion projects, about IFP, and yeah, I can't wait to have you back again.
Yeah, please. Are you sure? You really want this
We
again?
don't have a lot of people, but till then.
No, I also had a lot of fun, guys. If you, this is YouTube, right?
Yeah.
Please subscribe to this channel, TBG. There are a bunch of really fun people. It's a sister company of Mutter Media. And Mutter Media has...
So much information for this. Just subscribe, hit the bell notification.